We'll be able to see as soon as it's live.
Okay.
And Aga, you're going to share your slides?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We can actually, I'm going to go ahead and share out your first one now.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to give it just a minute for other people who are coming into our session. We're very glad to have you join us. I hope you're having a great second day at BB Dev Days. If you haven't had a chance to yet, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're joining from. And we'll start right about 3:01. Our numbers are still climbing, so I want to give it a minute. All right, so welcome to our session this afternoon with Siuda. I'm very excited to have her join us. I know some of the people in our audience are familiar. I'm Judy Spigarelli. I'm a customer success manager here at Blackbaud. Just to tell you a little bit about our session today, we'll collect questions in the Q&A section or here in the chat. And then as we're nearing the end portion of our session, I'll go ahead and feed them to Aga so that she can give us some answers. So please feel free to add your questions as we're going along. And I'll go ahead and pass it to you.
Thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate the intro. Hello, everybody. This is Aga Siuda. Welcome to my session, Navigating the Future and Exploring 2024 UX Trends in Nonprofit Websites. I am a nonprofit designer, former Blackbaud employee. I used to work as a designer at Blackbaud. I am also a Blackbaud partner currently because I own my own design agency specializing in helping nonprofits called Graphroots Design. And today we are going to explore the latest UX trends shaping nonprofit websites in 2024. I'll provide you with some insights and strategies around how to create compelling digital experiences that truly engage your users and support your organization's mission. And just as a side note, I'm just so excited to see all these people in the room and some of my friends and former colleagues. I am tuning in from Portugal, out of all places today. I see there are people from all over the US. Welcome, welcome. I'm vacationing here with my family, and it's such a pleasure to be here, especially because I have been designing the BB Dev Days graphics for years for Blackbaud, including the school t-shirts and the graphics that you're seeing throughout this experience. And it's just such a treat to be a speaker this year. So thank you so much for this opportunity. All right, let's get going. Nonprofit organizations face the challenge of delivering their message effectively and creating meaningful connections with their audiences online every day. Staying ahead of the curve in terms of UX, so user experience, is really paramount for nonprofits looking to maximize their impact. So it's really important to look at what we've been seeing in the recent years before we move to the trends of this year, because these trends have been building on the recent advancements in technology. For nonprofits, websites are such an important messaging platform that needs to effectively deliver your message and help forge meaningful connections with online audiences. And in order to maximize their impact, stay at the forefront of user experience, it's really essential. And nonprofits have been doing this in different ways by leveraging data-driven insights to prioritize accessibility, We have seen a continuous focus on importance of prioritizing accessibility and inclusivity to reach a wider audience and foster meaningful connections. And I'm just really, really excited about this, to see it continue recognition and growth. Nonprofits have been harnessing the power of digital storytelling and emotional engagement on websites. And what we've seen is that nonprofit leaders have started to truly understand the importance, the significance of storytelling on websites and emotional engagement in website design to drive impact. And of course, the nonprofits have been exploring emerging technologies such as AI, AR, and VR for enhanced user engagements, which allow them to do more for their mission. So let's take a closer look at these latest US trends and see how they've evolved historically before we dive into 2024. In 2019, we saw widespread adoption of voice assistants and conversational interfaces. Nonprofits have successfully utilized conversational interfaces for fundraising. And let me share some examples of this with you. UNICEF U-Report is a chatbot, this is very cool, that allows young people to participate in social issues and campaigns by sharing their opinions, experiences, and stories through text messages on social media. The chatbot also provides them with information, different kinds of resources and opportunities to take action and support UNICEF's causes. We have another great example of Charity Water, which has a voice assistant that enables donors to join their The Spring, which is their monthly giving program that supports clean water projects around the world. And the voice assistant guides donors through the sign-up process, answers the questions, and thanks them for their donation. And lastly, I have this example of WWF Earth Hour. They have a messaging app that invites users to join Earth Hour, which is a very cool initiative. It's a global movement that encourages people around the world to switch off their lights for 1 hour to raise awareness and action for climate change. And this messaging app also provides users with tips, facts, stories about climate change and its impact on wildlife and nature. In 2020, we saw increased focus on personalization and hyper-targeted user experience. What's important to note here is that donors give their money and time to nonprofits because they have a deeply personal connection to their cause. And the ways people communicate and connect have changed drastically in the past 2 decades. And as a result, today's donors expect their favorite causes to deliver very authentic, personalized experiences. So when data and software systems are not integrated, nonprofit departments can't often see how their work impacts their multi-channel fundraising efforts. That's why a single 360-degree view of donor data that's easily accessible and understood is so crucial. And these donors' profiles should include website visits data in addition to data from the CRM, because it makes a website an important tool for nonprofits to understand what content donors are looking at and how they are engaging with their organization. Then we're moving to 2021 and the emergence of immersive technologies such as AR and VR for website interactions. In today's digital era, virtual reality, so VR, and augmented reality, AR, offer unprecedented opportunities for nonprofits to elevate their fundraising efforts. And on these next slides, we'll explore these strategies on how nonprofits can revolutionize and engage donors and raise awareness for their causes by using the power of these technologies. But for now, let's stay on the slide and talk about what happened in 2022 with the rise of no-code and low-code website building platforms for non-technical users. I'm particularly excited about this because I am a designer, not a developer. And in my business, we help nonprofits by building websites in WordPress using these types of tools, which allow nonprofits to then really own their experience on the admin side of things without knowing any code. So no code, low code platforms simplify the process of building a website or application without requiring extensive coding knowledge. They can offer drag and drop features, pre-built templates, customization options to create functional websites or apps that can be easily personalized to match the brand's style and content, voice, and tone. Examples include Squarespace, I'm sure you've all heard of this, Wix, and then my favorites are WordPress builders such as Elementor or Beaver Builder. They offer lots of flexibility and ease of use. And of course, let's not forget the AI website builders that have come out recently. Those would be Webflow, Framer, or 10Web. And then in 2023, before we jump ahead to 2024, we have seen advancements in AI-driven content recommendations and dynamic content generation. AI has been such a game changer for fundraising organizations. It's very exciting because it really has the potential to supplement the two resources that most fundraising organizations just don't have. It's time and money. And while AI can offer useful content suggestions, only a human can truly understand a donor's pain point and develop thoughtful content to nurture them along their donation journey. A few examples of these useful tools include ChatGPT, Bard, and Copilot. These generative AI tools are now popping up all over the place on web browsers, word processors. Ask them a question or give them a simple prompt, and they can generate a range of content ideas that include text, images, audio, video, code, synthetic data. Another great example is Surfer AI, which lets you create ready-to-rank articles that can drive traffic to your website by providing this tool with just a keyword and a few content settings. So, 2024, what are we seeing? This is very exciting for me as a visual designer trained, in graphic design. Maximalism with dense, rich designs on websites. And I'll tell you more about it in just a minute. Another trend that we are seeing is the return of parallax, but it is different. I'll tell you more about that as well. AI-generated designs and augmented reality. So this first trend is maximalism. It's dense, rich graphics on websites. And, forget less is more. We've entered the era of more is better at this point. So if there's one overarching web design trend that was big on the internet in 2023 and is really continuing into this year, it's maximalism. And you have probably seen it. We're going to see more loud graphics, bold colors, expressive typography, lots of movement in typography, and just overall strong visual point of view. And I have a few examples that I really wanted to share with you here by sharing my screen. We'll see if that works. I think I'm going to need to stop sharing my slides for just a minute, and I will share my screen. Judy, can you see the website?
We sure can. It looks great.
Great. So this is a beautiful example of that maximalist design trend that we are seeing emerge this year. Heroinesinc.org is an organization that helps women cultivate fundamental life skills and provides a safe space for them to grow in community with one another. This website uses very saturated, beautiful photography, big, bold typography, lots of bold, saturated colors and textures. I'll just show you a little bit down the page on the home page so you can see what I mean by maximalist design. This is a great example. You know, the kawaii inspired graphics here. We've all seen this in 2023 and moving into this year. So that's one of the examples. I have another one. It's a very different mission. It's for Institute for Nonprofit News. This organization builds nonprofit news network that ensures all people in every community have access to trusted news. And they also use big, bold typography. They have animated text. So that's also been a trend this year. I'm seeing a lot of that online. Very saturated colors, bold, bold, bold. Some modern textures. There's definitely a departure from what we saw in the prior years. Back to my slides. Next trend is parallax scrolling. If you don't know what parallax is, it's a technique where background content moves at a different speed than the foreground content, creating an illusion of depth and a more dynamic visual experience. When I worked at Blackbaud many years ago as a designer, parallax was so in. And my way of describing it to developers was taking two sticky notes and sort of moving one in front of the other to illustrate the ideas. And that's really what it is. It's content moving on top of another type of content. This small but really impactful design choice enhances storytelling, guides the user journey through the website, and really increases engagement by providing a unique and interactive user experience. It's not a new concept, like I mentioned before. In fact, it was incredibly popular about 10 years ago. However, this year, 2024, it's on the rise again, and this time with a little bit of a twist. Instead of static designs and imagery, we are predicting parallax scrolling will incorporate more live and video content. I can't see to wait to see some of those examples on nonprofit websites. Let me again share a few examples because those are just too good to not show you. We will switch back to screen share. Just give me a few seconds. Judy, are we seeing the browser?
We sure are.
Very cool. Every Last Drop is a nonprofit that engages users in the importance of water conservation through very visually captivating narrative. So we follow this character through his day and learn about how much water we consume daily. The scrolling then ends with more buttons to continue learning about water conservation, but it's just a really, really fun experience going through this website and really figuring out how much water it takes to wash, a t-shirt, for example. So take some time after the session, take a look at these websites. They're really fun examples to look at. And then we have another example. It's NASA Prospect, brings the wonders of space closer to users, fostering a sense of wonder and curiosity. When you land on this website, you are instructed to turn up the volume and scroll, which I am not going to do because it does get loud, but check it out outside of this session. An astronaut appears against the starry background. Let me just, okay, here we go. And you're taken on this science fiction adventure where the space explorer journeys through space and meets a robot. These two figures change position, all with the power of parallax scrolling. Just a really fun website to look at. So obviously this isn't for every nonprofit. It has to be an appropriate use, but it is a trend that we have been seeing. Back to my slides. Trend number 3 is AI-generated designs. Generative art using AI is going to be a huge trend in 2024. It has been, and it's going to grow. We're going to be able to see more custom graphics per user just because you can generate really rich palettes and things that are very specific to user data. But this presents a challenge. Can a brand still be authentic in the time of AI? These challenges are very, very real, but they don't need to be a deal breaker for you or keep you from using AI. Here are a few principles that can help your team mindfully adopt AI tools. Always provide a human touch to build human connections. So your skilled writers should, at a minimum, review and edit any AI-generated copy for accuracy and authentic voice and tone. And knowledgeable designers should make sure that any AI-assisted imagery meets brand standards and quality standards. And really treat AI as a support for your creatives and strategists, not their replacement. Because AI tools are just that, they're tools. They can't replace creatives and strategists. They should support them as a powerful brainstorming and research partner. So bottom line really for this is AI tools have an enormous potential to help your team move faster while spending more time on strategic work, but also bring the risk of damaging your brand reputation, alienating your audience if it's not used properly. Ultimately, for the time being, it is really up to the marketing leaders to use AI responsibly and mindfully by supporting your team to create human connections through meaningful design and storytelling. And trend number 4 is the use of web-based AR to create mission-driven immersive experiences. AR, augmented reality, is a type of virtual reality. But here's the difference. Augmented reality offers a blend of both real and virtual worlds, whereas virtual reality takes place 100% in a virtual world. And the nonprofits who understand the true purpose of AR are seeing really great success. And here's why. Augmented reality exists because it lets people experience really extraordinary things in their everyday lives. Things that are impossible or very hard to achieve otherwise. For example, Snapchat allows people to instantly change their faces and environments in fun ways and then share those experiences with their friends. And I always get a kick out of it when I video call my mom in Poland and my little niece turns on those funny little filters that make my mom look like a bunny or a princess. When nonprofits use augmented reality to create an experience that helps someone see the world in a different way, a world that's tied to their mission, that's when they inspire people to act. And so there are some advantages here for why nonprofits should use web-based AR. and those are wide distribution. Web-based AR simplifies the process of accessing augmented reality experiences by really eliminating the need for users to download any apps, making it super accessible, very user-friendly, very seamless. Web-based AR experiences can be easily shared and distributed by sharing a URL or embedding them on websites. And it's a cost saving tool and development time saver. Web AR leverages existing web development technologies such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, which allows developers to use their existing skills and knowledge instead of potentially having to learn brand new skills. Here's some examples that I've come up with of how web-based AR could work for nonprofits. So web-based AR can involve the creation of location-based apps with interactive geofilters. By offering users an AR experience tied to a specific event or venue, nonprofits can entice more attendees and increase much higher engagement. Additionally, when these geofilters are shareable, they amplify the reach of the message across social media platforms. It can also help boost donations through creating very immersive experiences. Nonprofits can create very emotional connections that may inspire more donations by helping donors visualize the impact that they could not see for themselves otherwise. Imagine being able to see water irrigation being brought to arid landscape and crops growing where they couldn't before. Or how cool would it be to view a school being built in a place where children have no access to education? Those are just a few ideas, but this is how this organization used it. WWF Armenia organized a very cool campaign to draw more public attention to the problem of endangered species. It was called Take a Photo with the Leopard. It aimed to spread the information about Caucasian leopards, which face the threat of extinction due to extermination and natural habitat loss. And as a result, this organization has managed to reach more than 100,000 people around the world and get tons of feedback from this campaign. So with all this exciting technology on the market, nonprofits will embrace these latest UX trends this year to drive even greater impact, more engagement, more inclusivity on their websites to spread their mission and reach a wider audience. And again, we've seen emerge as nonprofit website trends for 2024 so far is the use of maximalist approach in visual design. Remember the big, bold graphics, expressive, moving typography, highly stimulating visual experiences. We are going to see the return of parallax in a really big way still with the use of live and video content. That's also part of creating more engaging experiences on websites along with the maximalist design aesthetic. And the increased use of emerging technologies such as AI and AR to enhance that user experience on nonprofit websites to boost engagement. That is it for my session. Thank you so much. I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have now, or feel free to contact me after the session with any questions that you might have for me.
I do have one for you in our Q&A.
Okay.
Do organizations have to mention that they used AI to create graphics, or is it only the case when they use a free or open source AI tool?
It's really interesting because this is so new. Copyright, it's a tricky situation with this stuff, but it is original artwork. So they don't technically have to mention that they are using it. It's not required. And many nonprofits, in fact, cannot use real photography because of privacy issues. So in that case, AI is really, really helpful and can fill in those gaps. But just like with stock photography, you don't have to visually mention the credits right in the banner or anywhere, on the website. As long, it can be very obscured, it can be very subtle.
Terrific. Another question we got: what are some good resources to learn more about using AR on websites?
Full transparency, I am really excited to be learning about AR on websites, but I have had no experience with it myself yet. I'm looking forward to having some experiences with it. There is limited research on it, to be honest with you. It is getting very, very hot. People are really looking into this technology, but there isn't a lot out there yet.
Excellent. Do we have any other questions? You're welcome to go ahead and put them in the chat or in our Q&A. And while we see if there are additional questions, I just want to share that we'll launch a survey near the end. We'll ask you to go ahead and answer just a couple of questions about this session, and that the Aga will be entered into a contest. Sorry for that. To possibly be a golden ticket winner based on persons just participating in the survey to bring this presentation to BBCon. So please do participate in our survey at the end. I don't see any other questions coming in.
Thank you, Judy. If anyone is interested in downloading the slides, they are available on my website, which is right here, graphrootsdesign.com. You can go to the website and download the presentation if you like.
Aga, Eric is asking, what trends are you seeing for boosting conversion rates for donation pages in surveys?
Boosting donation conversions. Yes, we are seeing very streamlined experiences. People are just not really, and that's been, an evolving trend over the past few years. Very clean, streamlined donation experiences. I have been designing short donation forms right in the banner area for nonprofits this year. It's done very well. So that's what we're seeing. Very accessible, very visible, short and sweet. Does that answer your question, Eric?
Excellent. Do we have any other questions for today?
And I just want to mention that these trends are just trends. We are so excited as designers to always dig into them and get inspired by them, but really designing websites for nonprofits is a very strategic exercise. While visual design is extremely important and it has to engage users, it's really about content strategy. You lead with content strategy. Content is king. So please keep in mind that while these are these hot trends, you don't have to follow them. You do what's right for you, for your organization, and stick to your brand. Be authentic.
That's great advice. We have a request. Can you share an example of a banner form?
Sure. Just a moment. Is Will Hall in this session by any chance? So this is an example of Illuminate Online donation experience that has been customized to a short form. We have done some A/B testing with different designs of this form on the homepage, different language, some different image options, different donation amounts, and have measured which one performed better than the other. We'll actually be using this client as a case study. They will be attending BBCon, and I'll be doing a session with them along with Will Hall. So this is really, really exciting to see how people are using this form. And it is the data on this website is showing us that users are drawn to this experience. They have been using this form and giving through it. So that's, always cool to see. But another website that does this, they've been doing this for a very long time. They're pioneers of this, is Charity Water. Fat fingers, can't type. Charity Water, they do beautiful donation forms that are very, very clean. So those
are terrific examples. Thank you.
Of course.
I have another question that's come in. How often do organizations typically refresh their website's design? Is that generally less important than a consistent, familiar look?
Depends. Websites do age. Typically, the design shows its age after about 5 years or so. But it's not really, for me, it's not so much about the visual design as it is about content and integrity of the information architecture. So the sort of how content is organized on the website. Because nonprofits are so busy, people who manage websites, marketers usually are doing 2 or 3 different jobs. There is really no appropriate amount of time that they can spend in auditing the website, looking at what content exists, what needs to be scrapped, what needs to be refreshed. So the navigation system and the information architecture of the website becomes sort of a dumping ground, for lack of better term for it, and becomes very polluted with old, outdated pages that are not linking, or content is no longer relevant. So that's typically when I see nonprofits coming back for a redesign. Another reason is the aesthetic. Something trendy was designed 5 years ago. That's no longer, fashionable in website design, and nonprofit wants to refresh their look. Typically 5 years, but I have had clients who have come to me after a year because they were simply unhappy, with how the website was engaging users.
That's a great point. I don't see any additional questions right now. We do have time for another question or two if you'd like to add one.
Yes, I just want to remind everyone that a website is a tool. It's supposed to work. And it costs a lot of money for a nonprofit to put this tool together with appropriate skilled people, resources. So it really needs to have an ROI. And my methodology is always a very thorough discovery where, we talk about not just the website goals specifically, but organizational goals, and then define success. What does success mean to this organization? And what does a success look like for this website project? And then once you understand, sort of where you're going as an organization, how this tool, the website, aligns with that strategy, and what kind of results you're to expect from this tool, then it all makes sense, because you can come back in 6 months or a year, take a look at data, which is easily collected, and it can be consumed in very easy ways nowadays, and determine whether this tool is actually working for you or not. And a website is not something that you set and forget about it. It's not a brochure, okay? It's a dynamic thing that needs to live and breathe, and you need to care for it and add fresh content to it, and just really constantly give it love and attention. And that's when it's going to work very well for the mission.
We haven't had any more questions come in, so I just want to thank you again for an amazing presentation. I'll go ahead and launch the survey, and I'll again ask for you to take just a moment. I think you're seeing these in each of your sessions. If you'll take a moment and give us your feedback.
Thank you all so much for being here with me today. Have a wonderful afternoon. Hi, Izzy.